Welcome, once again, my fellow manipulators of digital fate. I'm Richie, this is Capricorn, and yes, it's the end of an era, it's the beginning of another one. And in a way, we're talking about standard rotation. Dominaria United is still on the horizon, it's coming next week, but for this deck in particular, we're talking about clerics. Now, clerics are incredibly powerful in the current standard environment, and I feel like they're incredibly underutilized. And this deck in particular employs red in order to make it a Mardu Clerics deck list, and we're using some interesting cards that you might not think to use in clerics, but it actually brings the deck way over the top and makes it pretty insane. At the same time, there's a bunch of new clerics that are about to land in the new standard with Dominaria United to replace some of the old clerics rotating out. So this deck in particular is the final version of a deck we had on the channel over a year ago called Clerical Error. This is the final version, the ultimate version, I'd like to think, and it's Mardu. Once Dominaria comes out, maybe we'll explore making a new version with some of the Dominaria clerics, and that will be pretty interesting. But if you haven't yet, please like this video, share it, maybe subscribe to the channel. We're trying to grow, we're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers, and we could really use the support. So without further ado, let's get into it. All right, this one's pretty wild, so let's get right into it. Now, why are we running Mardu? There's two good reasons to run Mardu, and I think most people overlook it. First of all, there's Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Now, obviously, Fable of the Mirror Breaker is a really powerful card. It's one of the most powerful cards in Standard right now, and it's seeing use in a bunch of decks, just because it's a ton of value and versatility packed into one card. But what's special about this, even though it isn't a cleric, once it flips into Reflection of Kiki-Jiki on Chapter 3, you can pay 1 mana, tap it, make a token that's a copy of any creature you control. Why is this important? Because clerics have a bunch of creatures that are incredibly powerful in duplicates. The most important one being Righteous Valkyrie. If we can make copies of Righteous Valkyrie, the additional copies can trigger the previous Righteous Valkyrie, gain our life, and then pop us up over 27, and then we're getting +2/+2, +4/+4, +6/+6. The whole team gets absolutely enormous and then smashes through for the win. It gets crazy. We can also do things like copy Inspiring Overseer, which is a 2/1 flying cleric angel for 1 white and 2, and when it enters the battlefield, we draw a card, gain a life. So we copy this thing, we draw another card, we gain another life. And then we've also got Taborax in here, 1 copy of this. This is 1 black and 2 for a 2/2 legendary demon cleric with flying. Whenever a creature you control dies, a non-token creature, you put a +1/+1 counter on Taborax. If that creature was a cleric, you may draw a card. If you do, you lose a life. So every time something's dying in this deck, it's triggering Taborax, which, granted, it's not triggering on token copies, so it's not necessarily synergizing with the Fable, but the Fable's able to synergize with so many things that do synergize with this, and it creates a situation where, regardless of which cards you bring into the fold, you're gaining a ton of value in lots of different ways. So we've also got in our 2-drop slot 2 Luminarch Aspirants, 2 Voice of the Blessed, and 4 Cleric of Life's Bond. Now, we prefer to play Cleric of Life's Bond on 2, follow that up with another creature that will put a counter on it the next turn. If we have to, we can play Voice of the Blessed on 2, and Luminarch Aspirant is obviously super powerful. We would prefer to play 4 of these, but it's honestly super hard to try and fit everything we want to fit into this deck into it. So we have at least 2, and I'm pretty content with that at this point. In the 1-drop slot, we have Lunarch Veterans, because whenever something comes into play on our side, we'll gain a life. And when it dies, we can disturb it, bring it back, and gain more life when things die. That'll be important. We've also got 4 copies of Ollenbock Escort for 1 white mana. This is a 1/1 Vigilance human cleric. You can sack it to give target creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it lifelink and indestructible until end of turn. So all of these cards are good with Fable. If we make a copy of Cleric of Life's Bond, it will trigger the original Cleric of Life's Bond, gain a life, put a counter on it. If we make a copy of Lunarch Veteran, same thing. If we make a copy of Ollenbock Escort, we can immediately sacrifice the copy to give one of our creatures that has a counter on it lifelink, indestructible until end of turn. Now, we've also got one copy of Ob Nixilis, because the one thing that's really overlooked about Ob Nixilis is if you control a demon or a devil, when you uptick it, you'll also gain 2 life. Not only will they have to choose between losing 2 life or discarding a card, but regardless of what they choose, you gain 2 life. And I feel like the gain 2 life is very overlooked and underutilized. So what we do with Ob Nixilis is, like we would normally do in any deck with Ob Nixilis, we slam it onto the board, we sacrifice a creature, we make 2 copies. But if we've got Righteous Valkyrie in play, or any of our other life gain payoffs like Voice of the Blessed, Cleric of Life's Bond, we can start upticking this when we have a demon or devil in play, and gaining a bunch of life, getting a bunch of life gain triggers, and really just going to town on the opponent out of nowhere when they don't really see it coming. No one really sees the life gain of this card coming, and it can be really powerful. And we'd prefer not to downtick and make a 1/1 red devil at all, but we need a demon or a devil on the field, so how do we do that, you say? Cap, how do we do that? Well, it just so happens, if you remember, Taborax itself is a demon and a cleric. So if Taborax is on the field, we can make 2 Ob Nixilises and uptick both of them and not have to make a devil token and gain life off both upticks right away, which is incredible synergy, because Taborax is also going to give us cards and get counters when we sacrifice things, and we can sacrifice a creature to Ob Nixilis to make the copy, which will trigger the Taborax, and then uptick both Ob Nixilises, which will both gain us life because of Taborax, and the life gain can go towards Righteous Valkyrie, or Voice of the Blessed, or Cleric of Life's Bond, or whatever. It gets absolutely insane. We also have 2 copies of Pyre of Heroes, because everything in the deck's a cleric, so we can actually sacrifice some of our cheaper clerics to go up the food chain and get better clerics. So if we've got a 2-drop we want to sack, we can grab our 1 Overseer, or we can grab our 1 Taborax and make sure we have it in play, which is why only having 1 copy isn't that bad. There are situations where we'll absolutely want to grab our Taborax, when we know an Ob Nixilis is coming. There's situations where we'll want to grab Inspiring Overseer because we know we just need a creature to sacrifice to something. And grabbing the Overseer gives us a little bit of extra life gain and card draw before we sacrifice the creature for something else. And sometimes that something else will just be to continue going up the food chain with Pyre of Heroes and grabbing Orah. Orah is a 3/3 life linking core cleric. It's legendary for 1 black, 1 white, and 2. Now, whenever Orah or another cleric we control dies, you return target cleric card with lesser mana value from your graveyard to the battlefield. What's really cool about Orah is it doesn't care if it's a token or not. So the tokens that are made with Fable, after that token dies at end of turn, it'll trigger Orah and it will bring something back from the graveyard into play, which is absolutely insane. We've also got 3 copies of Crippling Fear. Because it's a one-sided board sweep, we can just name cleric or sometimes human, depending on the situation. Maybe they have clerics and we want to kill them and we want to get around it. Sometimes we can name other creature types, but usually we'll name cleric, and we'll be able to one-sided board sweep, or at least kill half their stuff and then make the other half unable to trade with any of our attackers and just swing in for an insane amount of damage. We've got 1 copy of Wandering Emperor because it's insane value, lets us gain life in another way, lets us put a piece of removal in that also generates value over time after using it for removal. It's just all around good, so it's good to have 1 copy of this. It is legendary, so we're okay with just 1 copy. Same thing with Kaya. Kaya is in this deck. It's good for removal. We can -3 to get rid of anything we want. We can also uptick this to put ghost form counters on any of our clerics so that when they die, they come back into our hand, we can replay them, we can re-trigger enters the battlefield abilities like gaining life or whatever it might be. And it can add a lot of value to the deck. I think one copy is just right because, again, it's so hard to fit everything we want into this deck. In the mana base, we have 2 Agadeem's Awakening because sometimes we just want to bring everything back, and it's pretty nutty. And we have 2 Skyclave Cleric. Honestly, the main reason these are in here is so that if we run out of targets with Pyre of Heroes, or we just need a very specific amount of life to be gained in order to turn on something like Righteous Valkyrie, we can sacrifice a 1-drop to find this. But it also counts towards our land, so we're able to kind of sneak it in as part of our land package, which is nice. So this is the deck. It's running pathways, it's running some of the slow lands, and the only other land other than basics is 1 Takenuma. It's really hard to fit more into a 3-color deck that doesn't have access to a tri-land. But Takenuma can be really good because it can bring back an Orah that's dead, so we can replay it, which can be kind of important sometimes if you have the option open to you. So this is the deck. It's pretty nutty. The games we played are pretty nutty. The win rate is about 75% right now, which I'm super proud of, and let's check out the games. This is Mardu Clerics. The most underestimated deck in Magic Arena. Boxy Bronze 777. This looks fine. We don't have a 1-drop, but we have a pretty good curve. We'll keep it. Start with Shattered Sanctum. Make sure we can play this untapped next turn. We'll probably play it for... I was going to say black, but now that we have an Agadeem's Awakening, I think we play it for white. For the Cleric of Life's Bond. And say go. Our opponent has an island and a Consider. Assuming this is Izzet. Looks like it is. He just milled a mountain. Looks that way. We'll play Righteous Valkyrie. And we'll swing 3. It's going to be really hard for him to deal with. If he doesn't kill the Cleric of Life's Bond this turn, at least. There we go. But I don't know if that's enough. If I'm being completely honest. Play this on black. I don't think it makes sense to Crippling Fear yet. I think it's better to just do this. Fading Hope? Sure. I don't think he's got much of a chance, though. Against the life gain deck, I don't think the Thermo Alchemist instant sorcery spell sling deck's really going to have much of a chance. We'll see. Drops a Delver. Kills our Aspirant with a Royal Eruption. But we still have our Righteous Valkyrie. So we're going to slam that. And we're going to play the Escort. Gain a life. And we'll pass turn. I could play the Agadeem's Awakening as a tapped land here, but I actually think it's better to hold on to. If we get one more land, we can use it to get back a 2-drop and potentially a 1-drop. I'm going to give it one more turn, I think. Although if I Crippling Fear this turn, I force him to have to activate Connive and discard something good in order to keep Ledger Shredder alive. Nah, we'll just do it this way. We'll just do it this way. My thought process is... Okay, so we pass the turn. My thought process is... Even if he can keep his Ledger Shredder alive, there's a chance he plays another creature that we wipe out with Crippling Fear if we wait. And that kind of makes up for it. Another Ledger Shredder. But he has to target one specifically. Alright, we'll play the Takanuma. And then we'll go Crippling Fear. Choosing Cleric. And he scoops. We got a win. Mardu Clerics. Bustin' chops. Let's see, can we keep this? Turn 1, Shattered Sanctum. Turn 2, Agadeem's Awakening untapped for an Aspirant. Turn 3, Haunted Ridge into Fable. I think that's fine. I think that's fine. Slow at work. Well, now you get to hang. Hang. Doobie doobie doop doop doop. Alright. Play the Fable. Sure. That's the turn. We've got Obby Boy in our hand. What do we want to discard? You? No. We need white mana. We need white mana pretty badly. Can't tap and generate white mana though. Let's just discard one. Play this as a land. Choose 3. Swing. Cleric of Life's Bond. Put back the Luminous Phantom. Cycles a Greater Tanuki. Battle of Frost and Fire. Well, that's sad. That's sad. What you gonna do? I guess we go Aspirant, Pyre of Heroes. Put a counter on the Aspirant. I actually think Reflection of Kiki-Jiki is better than the Aspirant. So we want to pile up the counters on the Aspirant so that if they can only kill one creature, we make that decision very difficult for them. Faithful Mending. Oh, I know this deck. Restoration. They're ramping into Restoration to bring back all the enchantments from their yard. You only need 2 more lands. They only need 1 more land. Let me think. I can make a copy of something and then sacrifice the copy to Pyre of Heroes. I think that's what we want to do. combat. Put them both on the Aspirant. Swing 5. Second main. Sack this one. Fetch a 3-drop. Probably this boy. And then play an Ollenbock Escort. I think that's the best line we could have taken. Next turn could be pretty strong. Play Voice of the Blessed. Sack something to find something. We really want another mana. And he's gonna kill one of our lands right now, so that's unfortunate. We gotta come in hot and heavy. Can we do it? We have barely any white mana. Let me think. If I make a token of Righteous Valkyrie. And now we just need to gain 2 life. Escort? I think we do this. Sack the Ollenbock Escort. We could get Orah. I kinda like this better, because I think we just win this turn. Unless he has that 1 mana bounce spell. Oh no! Oh, but he only gets 1.
I'm the new boss.
And we get 2 treasures.
Join me or die.
Honestly, that's fine.
Go ahead. Plead for mercy.
Before he realizes we can swing for almost lethal, we do that part of the ability. We're just gonna do it this way. Get the last 2 points of life. Turn on our buffs. And swing. There we go. There we go. This is pretty not. Good lord. This is an awful hand. Lunarch Veteran on 2. Fable of the Mirror Breaker on 3. Maybe that's okay. It's probably better than mulliganing, to be honest. But I don't love it. I do not love it. Especially against red. Ooh, Rakdos. Here goes my Agadeem's Awakening. Or maybe he'll just grab the Wandering Emperor. Oh, you got the Fable. Alright. Alright, alright. We'll work with that. Question is, do we play the second Agadeem's Awakening as a land or not? Because of our top deck, we don't. At least not this turn. We'll do this. Trying to decide if he kills the veteran now so I don't gain a point of life. But he also thinks, what if I need to kill the thing he plays for 2? Which tells me he's only got 1 removal spell in his hand that he can play this turn. Probably do it right now. Frostbite, sure. And we'll swing. Next turn, Wandering Emperor is up, so that should be pretty good. Voltage Surge. Weird. It's weird that he had 2 removal spells, and he didn't use one on Veteran earlier. He thinks Escort's better than Veteran. Interesting. Pay 3 life, make him second guess the fact that we want to use all 4 mana. And then swing 1. End the turn. End the turn. We're gonna flash at the Emperor. Ooh, probably make a token creature. Token creature. Plays Unexpected Windfall. So it's that kind of deck. Okay. Okay. He must have a second bombardment in hand if he discarded one. So we're gonna have to keep Kaya to deal with the bombardment for sure. We'll wait until the turn he casts it. Plays Celestis because he's thinking that gives me my 6th mana for next turn anyway, and it's better than treasures that go away. Alright, so we'll put in the Emperor. -1.
I'm home. Guards, to me.
Play land. I think we do this again.
Keep watch
And
for
we
it.
will play Kaya. But we're gonna uptick.
When you can walk through walls,
We're gonna hold on to that exile.
feels weird, I know.
I don't think there's very many things in his deck that can deal with a 6 loyalty Kaya. Plus, knowing that he has Duress, it's probably safer to have it on the field than in our hand. I think that's just the algorithm Nord. It always seems to want to match us up with it always seems to want to match us up with like mirror matches, or at least what it perceives to be mirror matches. Uptick there.
Ghosting feels weird.
+1/+1 and first right here. Swing,
I've
swing,
got
swing.
moves to teach you.
Rocks the 2/2. That is fine. Can he cast Bombardment? He'll have another 2 mana left over. Yes, he can. What does he exile? Doesn't matter. We're gonna exile it with Kaya. Does he sack an artifact to do 4? Could. Difficult decision, for sure. Like, we're killing that bombardment no matter what.
Fine.
so he can just make it.
I can shake
He didn't sack his Celestis? So we don't even have to lose our Kaya now to kill his bombardment. That's a mistake. He should have sacked the Celestis. Wow. Wow. Wow, wow, wow.
It's the least you deserve. Guards, to me.
Wow, wow, wow. End the turn. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. They had to know they were going to lose the bombardment. Their best bet was to try to take out Kaya in the process. Good lord. Come on. Come on. I guess now he's scooping, but he's doing the salty scoop. Crush the weak. I mean, that's fine. I'm okay with that. So much fun. We will uptick on the Cleric of Lifespawn. We will uptick on the Flyer. We will swing. Looks pretty good. He's down to 6. Our board is gnarly. Big score. Does he find another bombardment? It won't help him this turn. Does find Burn Down the House. It's pretty fucking good. Not gonna lie. Luckily we had some ghost form counters, so it's not the end of the world. We're going to save the Veteran. Trigger Cleric of Lifespawn next turn. We want to make sure we're out of Crush the Weak range. Which we are. He needs another Burn Down the House. One more. Just one more Burn Down the House. Man, Kaya was an MVP this game. Read the card. It explains the card. I love it. I love that you added that. I think they're just gonna die. You could have been blocked. Could have activated the manland and blocked. Why'd you use your removal? Thanks so much for checking out my channel. We are pushing hard for that 1,000 subscriber mark, so please consider subscribing. Hit that button. There's a circle in the middle over there. Hit that. Subscribe. Tell all your friends to do it. Thank you. Also, give this video a like so more people can see it. If you'd like more PlayStation and console game coverage, we've got that down below. And if you'd like more Magic the Gathering coverage, there's more of that somewhere off over that way. Do all the things.